I always thought that I knew my wife best, that I knew every move before she made it and every move behind her choices. Even when she has made bad choices, I often found excuse for her because of how well I know her. Considering the fact that we've been married for 40 years, is no surprise that I would know her. Better than I know myself, right? Unfortunately, those years of marriage did not prepare me for what she was planning. I'm shell-shocked and it feels like I've been married to a stranger. I'm going to tell you what she did, and it's up to you to decide whether I'm overreacting or not. Feel free to point out any red flags, as the youngsters say these days. I try my hardest to be well-versed in internet slang, since I don't have much to do these days after retirement. Let me not go off the tangent. My story is this. I'm 66. My wife Clara, 64. Clara and I met while in high school sweethearts, and got married in our early 20s. We have 3 kids. One's 40, one's 36, and one's 30. I became the main breadwinner when she gave birth to our youngest, and that's remained so over the years. Due to this, she took the housewife role while I took on the provider. Like any couple, we have challenges in our relationship. One of the major challenges we faced is Clara's jealousy. She's heard so many horror stories from other married women about being cheated on, and that so much she's began to suspect me of it. There were several instances where she confronted me in the business meeting thinking that I was cheating, but I've forgiven her. Instead of being upset, I worked very hard to ensure that my wife trusted me, because I was an honest man. Ever since I married her, I never looked at another woman or considered cheating with her. I understood the implications of marriage and how it was a sacred covenant. At some point, Clara started trusting me, which strengthened our bond. It's been many years now, many moons, and we have the strongest bond possible. We're transparent with each other about everything, no matter how difficult it's been. If there's any issues between us, we address it at the very beginning so that it does not become a problem in the future. We do not have much, but we live pretty comfortable. We have a house, vehicles, and some investments. We also have our holiday savings, and we've always wanted to travel around the globe together, but never got the chance. Work and children always found a way to get between that. However, due to my recent retirement, we've been given that chance. Over the past few months, we've spent time doing extensive planning for the vacation. The initial plan was to have 2 destinations, one picked by myself and the other by Clara. We plan to leave in a couple of days, but Clara has not gotten a head start, right? That would actually be a nice way of framing it, a head start. What I mean is that Clara has canceled all the plans, taken our savings, and gone on a holiday alone. This is extremely random, I know, and I'm struggling to figure out why she did this. Sure, our marriage has gotten to the point where passion has faded and given way to companionship, but she has never complained about that. I struggle to understand why she felt so unhappy with me. To just leave without a proper explanation has truly shattered me. The only thing she has left as an explanation is a letter, which I found when I woke up to an empty house a couple days ago. In the letter, she tells me about how she wished that she could have stayed, but she needed to explore the world by herself. She told me not to follow or look for her and hoped that I would understand. I went through a variety of emotions reading the letter. I was shocked because this came out of the blue. In addition, I was horrified that she would betray me in such a manner. Lastly, I was extremely worried about her. Clara has been quite impulsive. She's never done anything extremely harmful, though, not to herself or other people, but there have been incidences in the past where she has been irrational. I've always been there to ground her when I find her mind stray, which is why I'm so worried. I fear I should have paid closer attention to her over the past couple of months. Now that I think back, there have been times when she has been quite distracted and forgetful. She's also displayed mood swings and irritability. I just thought that she was having a bad day, but what if she was actually unhappy in our marriage and I failed to see it? Maybe she was emotionally leaving it, checking out, while I thought she was still here. All of these things have just crossed my thoughts, but the fact remains that I don't know where my wife is. She's canceled all the tickets we bought, which is a clear indicator that she's not following through with our plans. I can't get through to her on social media, and her phone has been off since that morning. When I could not get a hold of her, though, through these primary methods, I decided to ask the people closest to us. Our kids claim that they have not spoken to her since the day before. They also said that she's not been acting strange at all. I could not discern if they were covering up for her or not, so I decided to take their word for it. Our children love their mother, so I would not be surprised if they knew where she was but didn't tell me. This might make me seem like a bad father, but our children do have a closer relationship with her, since she was their primary caregiver when I was working. Moving on, I decided to involve the authorities after exhausting every method of finding her. Not even one person close to us knew where she was, especially her best friend. That struck me as rather odd, because those two are like thick as thieves, two peas in a pod. If even her best friend doesn't know where she is, then what the hell's up? I don't want to think about what she might be up to, because then my mind starts to go very dark. I just have to remain positive and look out for any communication from her, as the cops have told me. Unfortunately, it's not a very serious case because she left a letter, and there's no reason to believe that she disappeared under unfortunate circumstances. The cops will continue to investigate, but I'm not really counting on them right now. She left voluntarily, therefore they have no reason to believe that she might be in danger, or she might have left me for Robert. It's a far-fetched idea, but there's this guy. It's a guy from church who is overly friendly towards her. I've seen the look in her eyes when he looks at her. He loves her. She told me not to worry about him, he's just a friend, but what if she is with him and I'm the fool waiting at home? It does not help that when I went to check on Robert, I was told that he left a couple days ago. Think about it. There's a large sum of money missing, and the man who has a crush on my wife is nowhere to be found. Do you see where I'm going with this? I'm contemplating leaving everything and tracking her down my damn self. It would be crazy for me to do that, right? But I can't help it when things seem so suspicious. Do you think that I should track her down, or should I just wait for her to make some kind of contact with me, or maybe, possibly, even come back home? Update number 1 month later. Hey guys, I was extremely overwhelmed by the responses to my first post. I'm thankful when I wrote that post. I felt wronged. I was angry and desperate for answers, and I did not take into account what she might have been feeling. You guys helped me to put that into perspective, which I'm grateful for. It's been over a month since I heard from her. I've decided to carry on with my life and wait for her to come back. In the time I've been patiently waiting for her return, I have not been stagnant. I've taken that time to reflect, get out of the house, and discover new hobbies. Due to working for so many years, I've not had any real hobbies besides golf and gym. I stopped going to the gym 15 years ago, and golf bores me, so I spent most of the days watching TV. I found that watching TV is not always productive, so I've taken up woodwork. I use books and internet to teach myself, and I'm getting very good. My children are free on the weekends, so I alternate between them. Now that I have more free time, I thoroughly enjoy spending time with them and my grandbabies. The sadness that welled up when she left has been slowly replaced by inner peace. With this inner peace, a revelation has came forth. Why is it that my BP has not gone up much since she has gone? Blood pressure? I'm able to do what makes me happy, and there's no one to make me feel selfish for it, and it feels great. She might be living her best little life abroad, but I'm enjoying myself right here. There's one thing bothering me, though, and making me feel so nervous. Someone from my past that I promised Clara I would never speak of again is back. Granted, I made this promise at the beginning of our relationship, but I think it still stands. That person is back in town and wants to see me. Clara doesn't know about it since she went AWOL. I'm thinking of visiting my old friend and catching up with her, even though Clara would not approve of it. If Clara is not allowed to have some space to rediscover herself, then why should I not be allowed to revisit my past? It's not like this person will affect my relationship in any way like Clara used to think, but gosh, I'm scared. I feel like I'm doing something I should not. Maybe all this is a bad idea and I should not see my old friend. What do you guys think? Update number 2, 1 month later. Hey, guys, so imagine finding out that you have lived a lie for over 40 years. Yeah, and that this lie could have changed the trajectory of your life. You would be angry by the dang liar who did that to you, right? That's how I feel right now, as I wait for Clara to get home from the airport. Our son has gone to pick her up because I'm too mad to do it. Maybe if I had not found out what snake she was, I would not be this upset. My blood pressure's through the roof. It all started when I saw Anita when I visited my old buddies Stan and Jake. Anita was the girl I dated before Clara who dumped me because I was not cool enough. She did not even have the guts to tell me this. Instead, she sent Clara with a note. I was heartbroken, but Clara offered me comfort and support. While she was comforting me, I began to notice her, and shortly after, we started dating. When we came back to school, Anita had moved, and I never saw her again. Now, here she was, in the flesh, after so many years. It just sure felt good to see her once again and to catch up on life. Anita and I ended up talking for hours about life. It was fascinating to hear about her life and all the things that she had managed to achieve. After our conversation, we exchanged numbers and promised to catch up soon since she had just moved to town. In the past month, I've seen her almost 5 times. We've become very good friends once again, and it's strictly platonic. During our meetings, we did not discuss our previous relationship until one morning over coffee. She told me how she sometimes wondered how life would be if she had given me another chance and forgave me instead of breaking up with me. Obviously, I was confused about what she meant like that since she was the one who dumped me. After I expressed my confusion, she then tells me that Clara visited her and claimed that I was a cheater. Clara was a goody two-shoes, so Anita believed her story and broke up with me. She was too heartbroken to do it in person, so she sent Clara with a letter. Since I got a very different letter, it was safe to say that Clara tampered with it, and that's how we got together in the first place. Oh. So, when the truth was finally out, I felt my heart absolutely disintegrate within my chest. A physical pain went through me so sharp that I bent over. Poor Anita thought that I was going through a cardiac arrest, but it was nothing more than shock. I managed to calm down, drink water, and return to normal before the ambulance arrived. That pain was my heart breaking as the illusion of who my wife was shattered. She was no angel that consoled me through my first heartbreak. She was the demon who wormed her way into my heart through trickery. She was that woman who left me without an explanation to travel the world doing God knows what. She was also the woman who could watch me wither away as long as her desires were met. Just like that, the curtain fell and I saw the woman I married. I've been weeping on the inside since I found out about her deception. I'm angry with her and I want her to get these answers out of her mouth for this. What kind of sick person plays games like that? I have to know. There's going to be nowhere for her to hide when she comes home, and I question her. I'm going to get my answers, mark my words. Update number 3, 1 day later. I've been spammed with so many comments asking for an update. I'm sorry. I've managed to get my head straight so I can tell you what went down. It's going to be pretty... no, it's not. So I urge you to brace yourselves. My wife arrived home yesterday to a welcoming dinner prepared by our daughter. Everyone rushed to greet her and asked about her well-being, but I could not be bothered. As soon as I got a whiff of her signature perfume, my annoyance increased. I got up, went and hugged her, and gave her a kiss on the cheek. Then I offered to put her luggage away before we had dinner. After that dinner from hell, I was on edge. All I wanted was to confront her, but I had no idea how to even start. I decided to go and get some air, but she followed me. She asked if I was okay since I barely said anything at dinner. I told her I was fine and just needed some air, hoping that she would leave, but she did not. As if everything was okay, she starts talking about her trip, but I zoned out. Then she tried to touch me, and I retracted my hand. She looked sad as she admitted that she wronged me. Apparently, she was feeling so suffocated since I was now home full-time and that the holiday was her escape. I told her I could have moved to another bedroom if my presence bothered her so much. When she said nothing, I asked her if blindsiding me and ignoring me for months, then just expecting me to what, welcome her back with open arms, made any sense to her. I was met with silence and tears. I told her to go back to where she came from because I don't even know who she was anymore. At that moment, she asked if I had gone and found some other young woman to cheat on her. I could not help but laugh. asking her why she could not get over her cheating insecurities. I told her that clearly she was trying to make herself feel better for lying at the start of the relationship, but now I knew the truth. Finally, I was able to tell her that I knew how she was the liar who broke up my relationship with Anita. She asked me what she was supposed to do when I barely looked at her. She was afraid that we would never break up, so she accelerated it, and that was how we ended up together. I was extremely angry, raising my voice as I asked her how many other times she lied to me. She claimed that there were none, but I could not believe anything that came out of her mouth. We ended up exchanging a few more words before our children heard us and rushed to see what was happening. All of us ended up moving to the hallway where I told our children everything that she had done. Our son Mark told me to calm down because his mom was tired. I lost it and asked him why he was defending a liar. He flipped the script and claimed that I did not understand her and was simply judging her. I told him, well, if he wanted to believe her lies, it's on him, but I wasn't going to forgive her. I looked her dead in the eyes and told her that things would never be the same, and then she hid behind Mark like a coward and made me seem like some sort of monster. Mark, on the other hand, was clenching his fist, looking like he wants a fight. So I dared the boy. Throw the first punch. All caution abandoned. Luckily, my daughter diffused the tension. They said that we should all take a breather before we do things we'll regret. Unfortunately, my son is a hothead, as hot-headed as me, and all we wanted to do was argue. My daughters looked so worried, on the verge of tears, and that's how their mom got spared from my wrath. I told them that I could not be in the same house as her. She made me so angry that I feared what I would do. With that, my daughter Kathy said that I could live with her until I sort things out with her mom. I'm currently at Kathy's house now, but I'm meeting Clara to talk things through this weekend. I'll keep you guys updated if anything interesting goes down. Update number 3. 5 days later. Hey guys, it's been nearly a week since my wife came back to town. We're all still in the thick of disagreements, and with the way things are going, I cannot forgive her. Maybe there was like a 2% chance of me forgiving her, but that's out of the question now that I know she was not alone on her little vacay. At this point, I don't trust anything that comes out of her mouth. I'm even theorizing that she did not want me to come because her plans would be foiled. I'll get to that part in a second, but before I do, let me tell you how our meeting went. We had a long chat where she talked and I listened. One thing about Clara is that she can talk a whole lot of nonsense while explaining nothing. The gist of it is that she expected me to turn a blind eye to how she used our savings to steal our holiday. I swear all I heard while she was yapping was how she screwed me over and I was supposed to take it. And then, to rub salt in the wound, she decided to show me pictures of her holidays, living it up. It hurt to see how she had been doing all these things we were supposed to do together, but that was nothing compared to how I felt when I saw her on a vacation. With him. The reason for my discomfort was that Robert was in one of her pictures. He was the guy I was told not to worry about, yet he's in the picture. Why? When I asked her what he was doing there, she turned red in the face. If that was not an admission to guilt, then I didn't know what was. She starts to stutter, telling me that she had bumped into him because he had moved there. Looking into her eyes, I could tell that she was hiding something from me, but I was not going to probe her to reveal it. I was tired. All she did was lie and even possibly cheat. I was too old to be having this kind of stress. I wanted peace in my resting years, and because of that, I informed her that I would not be coming home. I feared her. The lies and backstabbing scared me as well, so I felt we needed to separate. We're now at the point I have no idea what's going to happen next, but I know I don't want her in my life. Update number 4, 6 months later. Hey guys, it's been 6 months since the last update, and this one is actually a happy update, and it's the last one. I'm turning 67 in a couple of weeks, but I feel like I'm in my 20s. I can't remember the last time I felt this alive. I kept on pinching myself to make sure that this is real, and of course it's confirmed and I'm happy. After I decided to leave my wife, I was unsure about what to do next. In addition to this, I was so scared, I stopped taking my daily walks, doing my woodwork, and going out. Instead, I slept my day away just so I could escape the harsh reality of life. While all this was happening, Clara was headlining a smear campaign against me, which led to so many people cutting me off. In their eyes, I was the villain who was leaving her because she just needed a break. I had resigned myself to the fact that I would lose the battle, but Anita was not having it. Every day she called or texted me to check up on me. She was my rock while I dealt with my emotions, and I slowly felt better. I decided I wasn't going to let Clara stop me from leaving. I contacted my lawyer and we went about removing her as a co-signer to anything I owned, as well from my will. I also removed my son from my will and split my assets between my 2 daughters. As for Clara, she's been bothering our kids for money because she's struggling to make ends meet. I moved back into the house and kicked her out. Our son took her in for a while, but unfortunately, his wife doesn't get along well with Clara. They had minor disagreements, which escalated to the point where she even got kicked out. Kathy told me that Clara tried to cause trouble between Mark and his wife, but failed. In the end, not even her own son could tolerate her. Seeing that her son would not accommodate her anymore, she crawled back to me only to find a surprise. Anita. She's living with me. We got back together shortly after Clara left, and our relationship is blooming. We were more than happy to kick Clara to the curb while rubbing our love in her face. With nowhere to go, Clara ended up in an old age home. None of the children want to see her, and I hate her, so she'll probably rot there. Since things did not work out with her precious Robert, she's regretting messing things up with me. I still stand by the fact that she left me to be with him, but things did not work out in her favor. Unfortunately, it was not waiting to take her back home like some fool. I mean, if she wanted a break, she could have talked to me about it like an adult instead of pulling a rug from beneath my feet. With that, she shot herself in the foot and ended up being a loser. Also, her lie from many years ago caught up with her, and I still ended up with the love of my life. To be honest, the only good thing that came from her lie were my 2 sweet daughters. They've been incredibly supportive throughout this whole ordeal. Well, now that all this is done, it's time for me to enjoy my holiday with Anita.